Hi, folks. Welcome to today's webinar on Business in Motion with IBM MobileFirst. Let's just go to the next slide. We've got a pretty cool webinar for you today. I'll just remind folk that this webinar is being recorded. We plan to cover for you today on the interesting topic of mobile, bringing you some statistics which are going to set up the scene with some background. We'll talk about the opportunity, some things to consider, and we'll even cover some pretty cool case studies. So, and then we'll open up to some questions and answers at the end. So, Usman, let's go to the next slide, please. Just a quick snapshot of who's presenting. I'm Adam Ginsberg. I'm a product manager in our exceptional digital experience software team, and I cover a number of different areas, including tooling, social, and cloud. And we've also got Usman Mimon, who's co-founder of Streebo, who's one of our business partners who really understands how to deliver killer, exceptional digital experiences, specifically focusing around mobile. Obviously, they do everything else, and we've got some pretty cool content for you today. Let's go to the next slide, please. So to set the scene, there's been this tectonic shift in our world around smart devices, mobile, and it's been absolutely incredible. There's about 1.4 billion smartphones that are expected to be out there with subscribers by the end of 2013. About 18% of global web traffic is mobile today. So if we look at some of those statistics, by the way, this is from the IBM Tumblr site, so you can get access to this and a bunch of other really cool stats. But 40% of people who use smart devices actually log in to the web before getting out of bed. I don't know how many folk on the phone are guilty of that. I definitely am. And, you know, it's just such a ubiquitous technology so we can get access to any information, people, any time of the day. And aligned to that, on the right-hand side of the slide, 91% of mobile users keep their device within an arm's reach 100% of the time. So whether it's in your pocket, your bag, next to your bed when you're sleeping, mobile has really had a massive impact into our lives, that it's always there, and it's ultimately this extension point of our human self. Also, 81% of employed folk actually use their own device for accessing business information and application. So that's another really, really interesting statistic. So these are some of the factors that are really changing our world, and you know, it really sort of sets the scene for something that we haven't seen since the web originally started back in the 90s and really started to grow at an incredible pace. So, Usman, let's go to the next slide, please. So if we take a number of those factors into account, what does this mean for the enterprise and mobility, and where's it heading? We're definitely seeing trends out there like retails. The retail industry sector seems to be leading the pack, but it's really impacting all the different industry sectors, and there are a couple of them on the screen. We've seen companies adopt mobile, see incredible benefits from increased 51% of Fortune 1000 companies who were surveyed saw a 51% increase in revenue, 63% reduction in costs, and a 48% improvement in customer service, and a 51% in turnaround time. Usman's going to talk a little bit later about Anico, one of Streebo's customers that they've done some incredible work for, and they removed a whole lot of paper and manual interaction and made it electronic with use of mobile, and had an incredible improvement of a 75% reduction in their sales cycle. That's just one example out there that just shows you why enterprise are really looking to this. There was also a recent Accenture survey of IT executives where 73% of those execs said that mobile will impact business as much or more than the web did when it first started. And you know, if you look at the statistics out there in terms of the growth patterns, you can see why. Let's go to the next slide, please. Thanks. So this is talking about why mobile is so fundamental to business success. And I'll take you through a couple of the stages and interactions of here that obviously all lead into each other. I like to start the slide from the top left, where leveraging industry transformations. And if we look at what's happening out there is that every type of device, person, and that we all fit into this mobile category. So it's not just about people, it's about, having, it might be a piece of luggage as it goes through an airport. That becomes, whether it's using RFID or Wi-Fi technology or some other mobile technology, as it goes through an airport, we know where that piece of luggage is. We know, about it, and it can, in the future, we probably expect that luggage will be able to communicate with us. We see cars, medical devices, and even your TVs now are just another one of these mobile devices. So we're seeing that over time, it's expected from 2011 through to 2022, those machine-to-machine connections are going to increase from 2 billion to 18 billion. And that's an incredible statistic, but if you think about everything that's going to become mobile, you can see why. That leads into the next item over there, which is mobile is this primary capability, which is really attached to our human selves. And it's going to transform the value chain and business operation. So we've got this device that we've got access to all of the time, and it really creates an incredible extension point to ourselves and access to these information and application out there. All this data, whether it's from these inanimate objects or humans using devices, gives us an incredible amount of context and information and insight into what's actually happening. So, as you walk into a shopping center, we know that you're there now. And if you look at some of the insight from that, 75% of mobile shoppers take action after receiving a location-based message. So you walk into the shopping center, there's a special on in a store. You're going to go and visit that store because you say, look, I might not be in this shopping center or a mall until next week. I may as well go and have a look at this special. So very, very effective. And all these capabilities are going to drive incredible improvements on revenue and productivity. I, for myself, am part of a worldwide team. I use my mobile device all the time. So because I'm in different time zone and geography, I can interact with my colleagues, my customers, the sales folk, in a way that I couldn't before when I was bound to a desk. So we're seeing in things like retail, I mentioned before, retail is a leader in the space. In terms of Cyber Monday sales, there was this incredible increase between 2011 and 2012 of 96%, which is absolutely amazing. And this feeds into this mobile becoming just really part of our digital experience. It's becoming a critical part where 90% of users use multiple screens and channels. I, for myself, use my desktop, my tablet, and my mobile smartphone to be able to access information, whether it's the likes of emails or specific business applications anytime. And I expect that experience to be consistent across all those interfaces. So those are some key factors to consider, and in terms of how important this is from an enterprise perspective. Let's go to the next slide, please. So in terms of some of the areas that specifically that it's impacting business, from a customer communication perspective, really mobile is giving an incredible way for you to reach out to your customers, whether you're using mobile payments, sales and service, customer, self-service. And the number of times that I've been out on the street and I needed to find some critical information or transfer money from one bank account to another or make a payment, it's just part of my daily life now. Employees and efficiency, it's another key area, whether it's from the executives who need to be able to get access to the latest information and dashboards or CRM information, or even if it's just doing that admin stuff of things like time and expense management. Those are all important things. Data and decision making, you're now at the point that you need to make a decision. If you're out on the factory floor or visiting a customer or doing a repair, or even if you're at in an accident site and you need to take a picture and make an accident report, you can do all of that out in the field. You have an incredible ability to get access to this information and make decisions right at that specific time. Also, asset monitoring and control, whether it's things like security alerts. We talked about, luggage traveling from one airport to the other. It's incredible, and there's a lot of opportunity in how this can help change your business. Let's go to the next slide, please. Thanks. So there was a study that was done by IBM with about 600 companies, and there were 30 mobile leaders. And it was incredible because most of those organizations didn't actually have a comprehensive strategy for mobile. And one of the things when we looked at that, most of the executives actually, and this is actually a separate statistic, said that they expect mobile to surpass desktop for key work initiatives within 3 years. So when we look at that type of statistic and map to some of the findings that came out of this report, there are a couple of key questions that organizations need to look to. Firstly, do you have a strategy? What is that strategy? If you don't have a strategy, it's probably time to start thinking about it and get on the road to getting an awesome mobile strategy. Have a look at your competitors. Are you ahead? Can you leapfrog them? Are you behind the 8 ball? Do you need, they leapfrogged you, and do you need to make amends with that? And also, what challenges are you facing, and how can mobile help? One of the other key factors that came out from the study, it's really important to bring the IT team, the CIO, and the marketing team with the CMO together. I actually attended a conference recently, and one of the organizations who has successfully implemented a mobile and a digital strategy, they put the CIO and CMO offices back to back next to each other on the same floor in an organization. And then with teams of at least part of those teams being on the same floor and being in the vicinity, just created an incredible opportunity for those teams to collaborate and succeed. So you don't have to go to that extent, but that's just one example of where a particular customer saw incredible value from that. Look to mobile to drive business innovation. This is another key finding. I mean, mobile can have a massive impact. And some of the key recommendations are, be bold. Go out there and make some significant changes, and where you might have been traditional and slow-moving, you can now make some massive impact with mobile technology. Be targeted and iterative. Start a pilot. You're not going to get it right first time. You can start with a small number of customers, and Usman will talk about some of these customer examples, and use that to gain insight and build on it. And then, obviously, be collaborative across the organization. So start off from the CEO, include all the line of business. You don't want to just start at one end and not do the other. Make sure that it's all inclusive. So hopefully those are things. There's a report over there. If you have a look at the IBM MobileFirst site, you'll get access to this report, some great findings, and hopefully you can use that. But I'd like to pass over to Usman now. He's going to take you through how to build that strategy, and then also some cool case studies.
Thank you, Adam. Right. So Adam introduced us to some of the key questions that we need to ask internally, or we actually often ask, to our customers. Right. At Streebo, we are a multi-channel focused, mobile-focused organization. We are working with a range of customers, and if I look across the spectrum to understand what did these companies that were successful with their mobile journey, what did they do right? How did they execute? What were some of the learnings? And more importantly, what did the end result look like? And so during the second part of this presentation, we'll try to look at real stories of a few customers that have made this journey. Right, they have delivered on this promise of mobile. So, the pattern that we see is that most of our successful customers, they went through this first rigorous planning exercise, right? We did a series of sessions with them with an intention to create this mobile strategy, And then the idea is, first you always start out with your high-level business objectives, right? And then we often advise our customers to help them understand the impact that mobility will have on their various functions and such. The idea is to build this master list of mobility use cases. And these lists are different, right, for every customer, for every vertical, based on the size, the customer base. And then in line with this business objectives, we'll help them prioritize these use cases. And the idea is to really create a roadmap as to, what really happens right now, in phase 1, what happens in, 2014, what happens in 2015. And that way we can really have a comprehensive view as to what the future state will look like. And once this roadmap has been created, I just pulled up a sample, kind of a deliverable that will come out of this mobile strategy sessions. Often we'll find ourselves working with the IT teams to really help them answer questions like integration, help them understand things like governance, maybe device and app management, right? Security, compliance, ensuring that this technology, while is fruitful, and ensuring that we still stay within our bounds of regulations and such. And the next step would be really to create, what we call as the execution roadmap. And as part of this execution roadmap, also picking the right frameworks, picking the right technology platforms, right? And MobileFirst here, we wanted to introduce this is one such portfolio of mobility-related products from IBM. And it consists of a range of products, right, that will address your complete technology needs for a complete comprehensive rollout. Starting at the top there, app creation or multi-channel creation platforms such as, IBM Worklight, which does more, client-side app development, or the digital experience suite, which consists of, products such as the portal, the content management, the multi-channel, the web experience factory and such. These complete suite of products will help you roll out, multi-channel apps or web apps and such. Right? The endpoint manager, for instance, will, we often recommend that to companies that need to manage these internets, right, devices, or mobile T-Leaf, for example, that you see that helps our customers with mobile analytics, right? So the right combination of products, the right use cases lined up in the right order, and there you go. Then you can really embark on this journey together. Really, we have created winning stories. So my first such winning story is from a utility major, and utilities, for those of you who don't know, is a very regulated industry. And the executives here, they really needed up-to-date information around the bills and laws that that were passing or were in the works. And these executives had heavy travel schedule, and CEO being one of them. And by the way, this particular initiative made it right to the top of the heap during the strategy session because it is really driven by the CEO's office. And there was a legacy content management in place. There was already processing in place to curate and surface these contents on desktop. The challenge was now to make it more ubiquitous. Now the idea was to make it available on tablets and such. So the team again solved that challenge by making this app multi-channel. What was delivered as an end product of that mobile strategy and execution was an open HTML5 based hybrid app. It was built on IBM MobileFirst. And the idea was not to again rip and replace. The idea was to build on the existing infrastructure that the customer had. Right? And now both IBM and Streebo are helping this very same customer with subsequent rollouts on other devices. We are helping them enhance the app with more business functions. We are helping them execute on delivery of new mobile use cases as they get approved. Right, so here's an internal facing example of an internet maybe going ubiquitous across in a company that is adopted BYOD. Second such example, right, is from a rail car manufacturing company. And I remember during the strategy sessions here, we were doing this in New York, we saw a whole series of use cases, right, and we saw mobility was literally making an impact on almost every aspect of the business. We showed them a comprehensive list. And cost savings was one of their top mandates. So some of the use cases that really got prioritized as a candidate for one of their first mobile rollouts, right? That first pilot that they wanted to jumpstart this on was to improve this process of field service technicians. So in the old world, these technicians would get a call, to come fix a rail car. The rail car would often be in a remote garage location. They would walk in with paper forms. It would go a lot, we saw the process going a lot of back and forth with corporate trying to get up-to-date information from the ERP. The customers and managers then had to approve the signed paperwork. So a lot of emails, faxes, before the data literally got manually keyed into their ERP system, in their case SAP. Right? And then once this, we saw the use case, we saw the impact, and we leveraged that MobileFirst IBM portfolio and again rolled out an HTML5-based, hybrid app, right? And we handed out some rough and tough Android-based tablets to these service technicians. We ensured that it had a minimal glare. Now these service technicians walk in with these tablets, they can walk up to the rail car, scan the barcode, pick up to-date real-time information from SAP, right? They make the fix, they take the notes, they get their e-signature from the customer, push it into a workflow, and then once the manager, approves the data, it's updated in SAP again in real time. My last, this is one of my favorite success stories, is from this major insurance company. It's a well-respected name in the insurance industry. They offer some great products around life, health, casualty, and property. And with 48,000 independent agents, these guys needed creative ways to, increase their sales. Yet it was to, keep a handle on the operational cost. And we triaged through the use cases, and we saw that really rolling out an insurance agent, a multi-channel mobile, first a web app and then an app was really the journey we needed to pick, we needed to start on. And these agents were independent, so we really needed to design and roll out interfaces that would surface on a variety of devices, right? Anico really didn't have control, so iPhone, Droid compatible, of course, Windows. And the subsequent engagement we expanded on include other business functions, right? Illustrations, quotations, policy enrollment, and they tap into offline availability of the app. They tap into e-signatures. They can save quotations directly onto the device. And the exciting part for the IT was that a single set of code was delivering the experience across channels. Right? And last year, then this app was also featured in the CIO magazine, right, with notable mentions for IBM, Streebo, and of course our customer. And then that's, by the way, Deanna Walton, the VP of IT at Anico, and she led the team from the front. And then this is really what excites us, right? Making customers that we work with, successful, right? That what tickles us and has been the secret of our tremendous success. So, what most of these customers really some planning upfront, right? They pick the right tools, they pick the right partner, build the solutions based on open standards, right? Didn't get really locked down into a particular, technology or platform or native OSs. They have built out open standards, HTML5, mixed in with native wherever needed, right? And then worked on proven technologies. And then they're ready for future growth. And I've come across in my, experience with a lot of customers that took that early jump without giving much thought. And then, they often commit mistake, rush into things. So in conclusion, I'll say this, that mobile and multi-channel is not, just about rolling a mobile site or an app, right? It goes much beyond that. It is the understanding that in today's mobile and social world, your customers, your partners, your employees, they will interact with your organization through various channels, right? And this, the idea is to give access to this information, be it, content, be it data, process, and we need to make it available both online, offline, right? Still keep it in sync. The challenge is to, make it ubiquitous yet controlled, right? Make it available on every channel yet secure. So, maybe you can start out with, one of those planning sessions and a digital or a mobile assessment. These ways we have, we are able to share our experiences with our customers. So, with that, let me see, do I have time? So I'll pause here and see if, people have any questions.
Okay, I'm going to unmute the participants.
All participants are now in interactive talk mode.
Lines are open now.
sounds like we're on hold. Some background music or someone. Yeah, folk want to ask any questions in the chat on the e-meeting. You can do that as well.
Usman, what kind of challenges do you see when trying to drive some of the rich user interface on tablets, primarily tablet-like interface, jQuery or the other more fluid slides?
Just 1 second. If somebody has hold music playing, if you could somehow mute that. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but
I think they've probably put us on hold, and we hearing their background music. That's the worry. You might have to mute all the lines, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, Usman, did you hear that question?
Yes, I did hear that question. If you can mute all lines, I think I can answer that.
I think if I mute all lines now, I might mute you too. But yeah, I don't think I can do that. I think it'll mute everybody but me. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll still try to answer that question. I believe the question was, what were some of the challenges, particularly in the tablet interfaces that our customers ran into. So one thing we learned early on is, the tablet, the desktop, and the phones actually require often, slightly different thinking in terms of user experience and such. Right? Often companies make the mistake of, using the same interface for the desktops and iPads, and it is, they're thinking the real estate and all that is same. So while that is true, we, through user experience and through some hard ways, we learned that because the interaction model with the underlying device is different, you have to think, the whole user experience becomes different. The whole content flow becomes often different. So, just because real estates are same on desktops and tablets, you still need to approach them differently. And then the same thing applies to, of course, tablets and smartphones. The real estate with mobile phones is so little as a tablet that we need to think more of an adaptive design rather than simply a responsive design. So often we have seen that customers that are serious about user experience will go with an adaptive design. When with that I mean really designs that cater to that particular interface, right? A separate interface for mobile, separate interface for set of tablet, and then separate interface for desktop. So that has been some of our learnings as we did a lot of these mobility engagements.
Okay, thanks, Usman. Do we have any other questions at this time?
I think, John, there's something in the...
Okay, well, thank you all for joining, and I hope you enjoyed this. Any last words, Usman or Adam?
Yeah, we appreciate everybody joining. Sorry about the music towards the end, and if you have any questions, you can post the questions on the email address there, and we'll be glad to answer them or at least point you in the right direction.
Likewise, thank you everybody for your time. We will be sending out a link for recording for yourselves and your colleagues so you can get access to this information. We also did a session, was it last week, Usman, which was a technical session around mobile, and we'll give you access to that one as well. So we'll go from there. Thank you.
This webinar is now concluded.